all invited guests, let me say how happy I am to join you at this occasion of the launch of the biometric registration for universal health coverage, which scheme will be managed under the National Hospital Insurance Fund. Indeed, as Kenya and the world grapple with the challenges arising from the novel COVID-19 disease, today's launch represents a new frontier in our nation's fight against both emerging and long-standing healthcare threats. It is also evidence of the fruitful and dynamic cooperation between our two tiers of government as the national and county governments jointly deliver on the shared mandate for the provision of healthcare services. Ladies and gentlemen, the quest for a healthier Kenya has been a central theme of our social contract and public life since independence. Indeed, our current constitution makes it clear on this matter that every Kenyan has the right to the highest attainable standard of health and the right to healthcare services, including emergency medical treatment. To actualize that promise in our constitution for better health care services, as a government, we have articulated for implementation specific policy measures in such plans as our National Vision 2030 and the Kenya Health Policy 2014 to 2030, as well as the Big Four agenda. The underlying reason for prioritizing healthcare provision is the recognition of the fact that without improving standards of health, our quest for prosperity and a better life for our people would remain hollow. A healthy population means, other things being equal, higher productivity. On universal health coverage, my goal is to ensure that all persons resident in Kenya have access to the essential health services they need for their health and well-being and at affordable prices. There is no doubt, if we look back to the days we were getting our independence, we can say that we have made significant improvements in our health delivery systems. Equally true, however, access to health care is still a challenge for many, with out-of-pocket expenditures remaining high. Available statistics show that in the year 2018, over 1 million Kenyans were impoverished due to high health expenditures for themselves or for their loved ones. Recognizing these unfortunate circumstances, we as a government have prioritized UHC and developed a comprehensive plan to progressively roll it out and upscale it. We began the UHC journey with a waiver of user fees in lower level facilities, then introduced several government-sponsored insurance programs for the elderly, vulnerable children, people living with severe disability, pregnant women, secondary school learners, among others. We then in Kisumu launched the UHC pilot phase. Was by all means a success story. It led to an increase in the utilization of health services, with over 1.6 million additional hospital visits made during the 12-month period of the UHC pilot phase. Key achievements of this phase include the establishment of an additional 208 community health units staffed by 7,700 community health workers or health volunteers. And these volunteers attended to over 2 million clients, many of whom were served in their homes rather than having to travel to health centers. Further, there was a recruitment of an additional 752 health workers to narrow existing gaps. Ladies and gentlemen, there were important lessons learned in the process of implementing the UHC pilot phase. Lessons which we need to take into account as we scale up the UHC to cover all counties. I am indeed gratified that you have spent the last few days going through some of these lessons and extrapolating them to find solutions for the way forward. And so I want to assure you that my government, in consultation with all stakeholders, namely the county governments, as well as our development partners, will incorporate lessons garnered from the pilot phase, as well as international best practice, into the preparations for the national scale-up of UHC. Ladies and gentlemen, over the last 2 years, our focus has been on financing health inputs and making strategic investments in areas such as primary healthcare, community health services, essential medicines and medical supplies, as well as human resources to ensure high-quality health service delivery. In scaling up the implementation of UHC, we will focus on 5 major pillars. The first is what we are here to witness today, which is to scale up the reforms at NHIF, which shall be comprehensive and fully implemented to ensure that the country has a national social health insurer that is able to responsively meet the needs of Kenyans by strategically purchasing services for their health and well-being. So in this regard, today, I direct the Ministry of Health and the Attorney General to fast-track the necessary legislation that will codify these reforms into law and foster the sustainability of the fund. The second is to establish a mandatory UHC scheme which will be managed by NHIF and regulated by the Ministry of Health. And it will act as a national scheme for all persons resident in Kenya, notwithstanding one's social status. 3, adopt the Essential Health Benefits Package, which is already completed and which will enable Kenyans gain access to an essential set of health services at a much lower cost. The package covers several areas, including outpatient and inpatient services, communicable and non-communicable disease management, maternity, dialysis, radiology, minor and major surgery, substance abuse, rehabilitation, emergency services, and cancer treatment, as well as ensuring that we take care of the mental health of our people. These, among others, and we want this provided at the low cost of Kenya shillings 6,000 per household per annum. 4, in line with the clarion call of leaving no one behind, the government will provide health insurance cover to initially 1 million households who are vulnerable and unable to meet even that low-cost premium of 6,000. The identification of these 1 million households by the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, as well as our county governments, is set to begin in a few days across the entire country. 5th, the biometric registration of the identified poor households, which we launched today, is set to ensure that beneficiaries are identified when they seek services at the healthcare facility and at NHIF branches countrywide, and an e-claim system will be used to improve efficiency and to curb fraud and abuse, challenges which we must address as we scale up. Past initiatives to improve healthcare service delivery have not been a success because of these challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, delivering UHC requires close collaboration and synergy within government, both tiers of government. It will also require greater cooperation with the private sector, our development partners, participation of the religious sector, civil society, healthcare practitioners, and support from the people, private providers. The BBI implementation report proposes fundamental and innovative solutions to the health quagmire that Kenya has faced since the beginning of our nationhood. As a government, leaders and partners in delivering the Kenyan dream, we are called upon to do all that is required of us so that Kenya can indeed be that healthy nation that we seek. The Kenya we want is one in which no Kenyan should leave the country so as to receive the medical care they require. A Kenya that is a world-renowned medical tourism destination, a Kenya whose healthcare bills no longer destroy in a single swoop wealth that has taken decades to create, and a Kenya where every person, regardless of their financial status, will receive the care they need at an institution within the local area, and a Kenya where UHC has become a platform for innovation in developing locally manufactured medicines and equipment. I want to thank, through you, Chair, the county governments. I want to thank our development partners. I want to thank the Ministry of Health, and indeed all other ministry departments and agencies involved in this noble national task for delivering this initiative on time and indeed under budget. In order to secure sustainability of financing for health, I want to urge both levels of government, as has been stated by Governor Oparanya, to ring-fence health sector funds to support the attainment of universal health coverage. I invite all Kenyans and all persons resident in Kenya to register for NHIF and to ensure that they remain up to date with their subscriptions. This will ensure that the fund has the necessary financial depth required to deliver on its very important mandate, in addition to ensuring that in the event of a medical emergency, the fund is able to step in and cover the paid-up member or their beneficiaries. As I conclude my remarks, ladies and gentlemen, I want to make it clear the scheme we are launching today must be a success. In this context, I urge the NHIF to ensure that the precious funds committed to its custody by both subscribers and supporters are utilized prudently with utmost transparency and accountability. Any person who attempts to defraud the NHIF or abuse its processes will be dealt with accordingly as provided for under our laws. Anyway, that's okay. Finally, it is now my humble duty to declare the biometric registration for the Universal Health Coverage Scheme officially launched. Asante. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to just close by just saying, I know we can do this. I know we have the ability to do this if we just work together. I want to urge, especially our members of parliament, don't delay us by unnecessary debates. We all know where we want to go. What we want now is to begin delivering. We want to begin delivering. Our people deserve it and they want it. And we are asking you to partner with us. This is not the time to show prowess in debate. This is the time to deliver so that our people can get this benefit that we all know has turned many, many households in our country into total destitution because of having to cover their medical bills. We have an opportunity now to fix that once and for all. And I am really calling upon each and every one of you to be active partners in this endeavor so that we can achieve this objective for and on behalf of our people. And those charged with the responsibility of looking after these funds, I want to promise you that if you do not handle these funds with the care and caution that it requires, some of us will go to very extreme lengths to ensure that you shall regret it for the rest of your lives. Let us be clear that we can no longer afford gameplay in this sector. We have a chance. You have heard what Governor Hassan Joho has said here about what he has managed to achieve in just that short space of time, that is saving lives. This is where we want to go. We want to ring fence this money. We want to ensure, just as we have done in education, we want to do the same in health. That the same manner we ring fence our education funds, we should now begin to ring fence our health funds and deliver for our people. Jameni, tufanye hii kazi. Hakuna kitu ingine, na itakuwa furaha sio wake, hata kwa macho ya Mwenyezi Mungu atasema kweli hawa wamefanya kazi. Mungu awabariki na walinde. Asanteni sana.
Asante sana. Niombe sote tusimame kwa wimbo wa taifa. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Rais. Magavana wote tunaomba watafadhali kutoka mlango wa nyuma kwa haraka kidogo. Tutapata dakika 10 kupata fursa ya kuwa naye Mheshimiwa Rais. Tutamfuata mwenyekiti wetu kwa haraka kidogo.
The procedure of reporting assets to Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority